right, example 5 is somewhat similar to example 4. Here we're going to do is we're going to analyze a polynomial function. And in this case, we have to find all real zeros and relative extrema. So if we want to find all of our real zeros, well, this kind of looks like it's something we could factor. When you want to determine how many zeros you're going to have, you look at your degree. Well, a degree is 4, so we should have a degree, or we should have 4 zeros at the end. So if we take our function, our negative 2x to the 4th plus 2x squared, if we set this equal to 0, what we can do is we can take out a negative 2x squared. And when we do that, we have left over x squared minus 1 equals a 0. So what we do now is once we get down to x squared, you can set each of these equal to 0, or you could even factor this problem a little bit further. This is a difference of squares, and you can make that an x plus 1, x minus 1. But we're just going to set negative 2x squared equal to 0, and x squared minus 1 equal to 0. And when we solve these, let's solve the one on the left. Divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2, and we get x squared equals 0, which means if you take the square root of both sides, you're going to get a 0. However, it's not a plus or minus 0. You actually have a 0, but you have a multiplicity of 2. That means we actually have 2 zeros. So now when we solve this equation here on the right, we're going to get x squared equals a 1. And when you take the square root of both sides, in this case, you're going to end up getting x is equal to a plus or minus 1. So we get a total of 4 zeros because we have a positive 1 and a negative 1. Don't forget your plus or minus. You have to get 2 answers. So we have 2 answers here. We have 1 answer here, but because we have multiplicity of 2, that actually gives us 4. Oh, that's a great little sign here. Let's move this down a little bit. There we go. Now, in order to find your relative extrema, which means you need to find a relative max and a relative min, then what we need to do is you need to use your calc menu on your calculator. So we're going to go to our calculator and we're going to type in our function. So we're going to go to y equals and clear this. We're going to say negative 2x to the power of 4 plus 2x squared, and we should get our graph here looking almighty and lovely. Now it's an even function, so they're both going down because it's negative, so that would give you since your a is negative, it's going down. You have actually 2 max. It's hard to tell, but you could always zoom in is 2. You can always zoom into your graph. That really did a whole lot. Zoom in some more, so hit zoom 2, and eventually you'll find that you have, or you can always change your menu. This is not zooming, what a bummer. You're actually going to have 2 relative mins. So to find our relative maxes, 2 relative maxes, second, trace, hit 4 for max, and so I'm going to go to the left here, hit enter, and I need to go to the right. Enter. So one of ours is at a negative 0.71 comma 0.5. So one relative max, negative 0.71 comma 0.5. And we have another one. I'm going to guess it's going to be just the same on the right side. Second trace, 4 for your max. So in this case, I'm going to type in a 0 for my left bound, type in 1 for my right bound, hit enter, and we get a 0.71 comma 0.5. So you have 2 of those, positive 0.71 comma 0.5. And now for your relative min, I guess it's 0, 0, but you go second, trace, 3 for your minimum, and I'm going to choose a relative min between, I'm just going to go to the left, there we go, it's to the left, go to the right, and here is your relative minimum. Notice this is e to the negative 6, e to the negative 12. That means the same thing as 0, comma 0. So there you go.